What's up guys and welcome back to the channel. I don't get to do this very often, so I'm really excited about it. We have a new brand that we're gonna be talking about a decent amount on here. I'm very excited about Raw Nutrition from Matt Jansen and Dom, the owners of ReviveMD. They obviously have ReviveMD as their health and wellness line, and Raw is going to serve as their sports nutrition line.
Welcome to PricePlow.
What does Raw do? What is Raw's mission? I don't know their mission statement, but judging from their branding, I'm expecting to see a lot of transparency and just the ingredients that you really need when you're going to the gym. I'm expecting this to be that sports nutrition version of ReviveMD, meaning Matt's normal protocols for his clients, which are very successful clients. Overall, I'm a pretty big fan of the formulas that I've seen, and I'm excited to bring Raw Pump today and talk about what they do here. There's a lot of stuff that I like about this product. There is one thing that I'm going to point out that I really wasn't a big fan of. I always try to, even if we have a business relationship with the company, give a little bit of a devil's advocate if there was something I saw that was probably missed or overlooked, and I do have that today. But for the most part, I'm really excited about this brand. Anything that Matt does, I've always kind of been a fan of because I have very similar philosophies on training, nutrition, supplementation, lifestyle, recovery to what he does. So let's start at the top and let's talk about Raw Pump. We have potassium, sodium, obviously you have to have in the top here. These are minerals that are gonna be important for muscle contraction as well as pump. You cannot contract muscles without sodium. Pump is gonna be really affected by potassium and sodium. So you have 25 milligrams of potassium and 420 milligrams from sea salts of sodium. Obviously, I'm going down the 2 scoops here. I always go down the max dosages because as our clients and viewers, or whatever you want to call yourselves, consumers of PricePlow content, you are probably going to be using the max dosage. So that's what I'm talking about today, because that's what I would use. So 25 milligrams of potassium is fine. You actually can't put over 99 milligrams in a serving of dietary supplements of potassium. If I can quote Joey Savage from Glaxon, it creates an effect that is similar to dry heaving, but from the other end of your body. So don't want to do that. 420 milligrams of sea salt. Sodium, it's actually yield sodium from the sea salt, is a pretty good dosage. I'm personally a fan of salting all of your meals, so I don't think that a huge bolus dose of salt pre-workout is going to be important for real athletes that salt their meals. However, you can't apply that to all mainstream consumers. Most consumers don't salt all of their meals and take a large amount of salt, so this is important for them. So getting into the actual actives here, we have 5 grams of citrulline. Now the clinical dose for citrulline starts around 4, tops out around 10-ish. Some people even go beyond that. 5 is a fine dosage here. You'd usually find around 5 if you're using citrulline malate at any kind of ratio. It normally is around 5 grams. So happy to see that here. That's gonna start off our pump on a really good note. We follow that up with 5 grams of betaine anhydrous. Now, betaine anhydrous is a precursor to creatine. It helps you endogenously produce more creatine. It also helps with power output, hydration, pump, and a lot of different things that are going to be useful for this product. Now, Raw Pump is mostly a pump product, but there's also a little bit of nootropic and hydration in there as well. So, betaine anhydrous fills a plethora of different areas there. Really happy to see. I've never seen it at 5 grams before, so I've been testing this out and enjoying it. I don't know how much of it's coming from that huge dose of betaine anhydrous. To be honest with you, I don't really know if there is if there's really a lot of science behind that huge dose there, but I'm a huge fan of betaine anhydrous, and I'm happy to see it being given more love here. So I think in the long term, we're gonna see whether or not this was a good dose. Beta-alanine here, they sort of go for underdosing here, 2 grams. Now, beta-alanine has no acute benefits. All you're gonna notice is itchiness when you first take it. It is a loading ingredient. You need to get around 179 grams of it total over a short amount of time to load it and saturate your blood as best as possible. So whether you're taking 2 grams or 3.2 grams being the clinical dose that is studied, eventually you're going to saturate your blood and it's going to be more beneficial for you. So there's no real downside in the acute of taking less than 3.2 grams, but you're not going to load your blood as quickly as possible. I'm not really a big fan of them using less than 3.2 grams, but I also understand that most mainstream consumers are not a fan of the itchiness that it causes. So I can see both sides here, and it is going to help in some way. I'm not losing sleep over it, to be honest with you. Now, we follow that up with one of my favorite ingredients in a very, very helpful dosage. Now this is lending towards the more focused side of things here. 2 grams of tyrosine. I'm a big fan of tyrosine for mind-muscle connection as well as focus in the gym. Normally you see it between 500 milligrams and a gram. I really enjoy it around like 3 grams. So seeing it at 2 grams here is probably a more economic decision, but also really helpful and above what the normal consumer is getting from the normal product. So that's really exciting to see that they didn't use N-acetyltyrosine, which is a lesser form of it. They didn't use a small doses of it. They used a big dose of it at the right version. Happy about that. Now we follow this up with one of my favorite pump ingredients. And it's hard to put these pump ingredients up against each other because there's very few studies that actually compare them direct. There's no nitrates versus nitrosine versus citrulline. There's none of that actually published out there. So seeing 1,500 milligrams of nitrosine makes me really happy because it pairs up really well with the betaine, the citrulline, and the rest of it to make a really great pump. Nitrates are sometimes I find to be the most powerful ingredient for pump, but nitrosine, you can take a very small amount of it. You know, you're usually getting at least 2 grams of nitrates in a formula. You can use 1.5 grams of nitrosine and get an incredible pump, which would make me think that, you know, gram for gram, it's actually the most powerful because I don't think that that small of a dosage of nitrates would do that for me, but you never see them together anyway, so it's kind of a moot point. Huge fan of Nutrition 21, the manufacturers of nitrosine. They have a lot of human data that shows a lot of benefits. And while Raw couldn't actually make this claim, if you look at New Level and how it works, it's basically an enhanced version of nitrosine delivering blood flow to the brain as well as the muscles. You would be able to theorize that nitrosine here would also help with mind-muscle connection and focus if it has a similar pathway to New Level, which it does. One last benefit of nitrosine is that it actually increases blood flow to the muscles for about 6 hours, so it not only helps with pre-workout pump reasons, but also helps out with post-workout recovery because it's going to help drive blood for the rest of the day and help facilitate recovery because we know that blood drives nutrients to the muscles for recovery. So that's my little soapbox on why I love nitrosine so much. We're gonna move into Agmatine Sulfate next. Normally you see this ingredient anywhere between 750 milligrams and a gram. You're gonna actually see it at the half dose, 1 scoop, at 750 milligrams. But at the 2 scoop dose, the max dose, you're gonna see a gram and a half here. Agmatine sulfate is an awesome pump ingredient, but it's also really helpful for a few other things, namely being carbohydrate utilization, like nutrient partitioning. So agmatine is an awesome ingredient. I like seeing it. There's not a lot of human data on it for pump, but almost all of us anecdotally have taken between 750 milligrams and a gram of it and enjoyed the pump benefits. I think especially if you're using carbohydrates pre-workout, this is really gonna help you out. Moving into taurine, they've got 1.5 grams of it. Taurine has a ton of different benefits for trainers. If you are training for endurance or resistance training, it's gonna help you out in a lot of different ways. It helps with hydration. It kind of adds this like sheath of water to you that helps protect you and keep you hydrated, which is really important, but it also really helps with blood flow and a little bit with focus. So love seeing that in here. We're finishing off with pink Himalayan salt at 1.5 grams. That's obviously going to yield the 420 milligrams of sodium I talked about in the beginning. Pink Himalayan salt has a bunch of other different minerals that are important here, but it's not a huge deal. Mostly we're looking at the sodium in this case. And lastly, we have about 300 milligrams of lion's mane extract. Doesn't really talk too much about the standardization. And it's not like the biggest dose, but there is some in there. It is going to help in some way. Now, the two things I'm not really a huge fan about this product, and I'm going to be honest about, is one, the labeling error with the pink Himalayan salt. I'll throw it up on the screen. If you look at 1 scoop, it says 500 milligrams, 2 scoops, it says 1.5 grams. Now, we told them right off the bat when we saw this on their site before this launched, hey, there's a labeling error, and they saw it, they're like, yeah, you know, we made a mistake, we're going to fix it for the second round. It's not a big deal. I normally always try to warn people when companies do this kind of stuff because obviously that is an issue to look for in the future. But these guys also do their third-party analysis. They're on top of their labeling, and it's gonna be fixed for the next round. So I was really impressed to see the way they handled it and the way they've been handling all of these compliance issues. There's obviously been talk about the fact that they use NutriCap, and the fact that they actually third-party test their products really helps absolve me of any worry about the quality of their products. Now, the lion's mane extract is probably the biggest hole in the product because it doesn't tell us about the extraction and also isn't the greatest dose. I'd like to see a lot more of lion's mane. That being said, the rest of the product is so stacked, I'm willing to kind of overlook this. Lion's mane is a mushroom, which means in a powdered form, it probably doesn't taste very good. It probably isn't going to help the pineapple flavor if you're adding a ton more of it. This is, I'm guessing it's their favorite flavor because it's the one they sent me. But, you know, I'm willing to overlook one ingredient being underdosed when the rest of the product is so well dosed, if not overdosed, and it provides me a great pump. So if you want to add more lion's mane, it's pretty cheap to grab on Amazon. Add some capsules. It's not really going to change all that much. It's going to help if you add more, but it's not necessarily really like a detracting factor from the product for me. So overall, I get a great pump from Raw Pump. I really like it. I like the way that Matt Jansen thinks through his products. I think that he has a lot of experience in the industry and probably knows a little bit more than your normal bodybuilding guru when it comes to supplements now. In general, I don't trust influencers, gurus with supplements. If you look at over the years, the supplements that gurus have produced, they've just really never been all that great. But Matt is very like, he looks at things from not just that bodybuilding guru standpoint. I've been very impressed with seeing the way that he uses Westside's protocols for training, the way that he's been rehabbing his pec after his injury. It's very impressive, and it shows me that he has a really good understanding of the body and how it works. So very excited to check out the rest of the Raw line. You're gonna see more of it coming soon. As always, I'm going to warn you guys, or at least be transparent about this. I was send this for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with Raw. I am a big fan of Matt's. I've read his stuff for a very long time. So if there is a bias, it's a bias that I appreciate their company, and we are a business affiliate with them. But even in that, I think that the product speaks for itself, and the breakdown hopefully tells you guys the truth about the ingredients. So if you do want to try it out, I think we have a coupon code PricePlow. We'll save you a couple % off the product. Go check it out. If you want to learn more about the product, you can go over to PricePlow.com/raw nutrition. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this one got a little bit long, but I like the product and I think it's dosed really well. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for checking it out. And as always, have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.